Ladies, we want you to finish this sentence. I would never date someone who. It's a very interesting number one response that I think might surprise you. But first, we want to hear from you. 800-682-1075.
Hey, this is Tiffany.
Okay, Tiffany, finish this line. I would never date someone who.
They have to be nice to the waitstaff.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. Like if you're even the slightest bit mean, you're out. Bye. Sorry.
Yeah.
Usually
I don't
it's
like
a good
that.
sign.
Mm-hmm. So you would never date someone who was rude to the waitstaff.
I wouldn't be
I
friends
get
with somebody who's rude to the waitstaff.
It's just that's uncomfortable for everybody.
It's one thing to point out if something's wrong, but to be rude to the waitstaff? No.
They're people too.
Yeah.
And I've been that people.
Yeah. Let's go to Mandy. Mandy, fill in the blank here. Finish the sentence. Ladies, I would never date someone who.
Well, I work in advertising, and I dated a male model once, and never again.
Why? What happened?
I mean, he was so full of himself, and he also was just, like, dumb as rocks. And then, like, women all over the place just trying to, get up in there. No, never again.
Okay, so I would never date someone who was a male model.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've heard that
I get
before
that.
too. Women would. This girl said she would never date a funeral director because she went on a date with a funeral director before.
Yeah.
And on the date, he took her to the funeral home, and she said she was creeped out because he deals with dead bodies all the time.
Why
Yeah, why
would
would
he
you
take
take-
her to the funeral home?
Because I guess that's his passion.
Yeah.
But it's
Just
dead,
like
it's
me
dead
and-
body.
Like me and Squid, sometimes we're single. We bring the ladies by the radio station.
this is
This is our morgue.
yeah.
This is our morgue.
This
our
is where
flex.
we go to die.
This is where we come to.
No, but yeah, that's really stupid. You got to be a freaking moron to do that.
Unless she says to you, "Hey, I really want to see it," well, you have no business taking
I'd be like, are you
her
sure?
there.
Right.
You know,
That's-
but that would be on her to start it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not just like, "Hey, you want to go check out the morgue?"
Remember former intern Hugs? I just saw him again.
You did?
Him and his wife Ashley used to work here, intern Hugs.
Yeah.
And it was at El Camino Real.
Oh.
Just recently.
I've seen them there as well.
And he took a girl that I think it was a thing on our show that he went on a date with to a graveyard. Remember?
He did.
I
At the-
forgot that.
Because we were like, how'd it go? And she
What?
was being kind of hesitant. She's like, well, at the end of the day, he took me to a graveyard to make out.
Yeah.
What?
I
Because they
forgot.
were looking for a spot.
yeah.
Graveyard.
Graveyard.
And
Yeah.
I think she made out with him.
I think she did.
Yep, right in the middle of a cemetery.
What?
I
Yeah.
forgot about that. I'm glad you guys have good memories because I do
Well,
not.
no, I don't know about anything else. but
Speaking
yeah.
about interns, until recently, I've also heard that many women say they would never date a guy who lived with his mom, which Squid did, but now he doesn't. But
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be improving his dating life.
No, not at all. No, it's regressed, if anything. Yeah.
No,
That's
It's
better.
regressed.
Yeah.
Is it, do you think it's regressed a little bit?
No, I'm joking. It's
Yeah.
it's been a little
It's
better.
been
A little
okay.
better.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's been better.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but I feel like that narrative has changed
Big time.
recently as far as living with a mom.
What do you mean?
So many more people live with
Yeah.
their parents now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know,
like,
or move back in, or
sometimes
it's-
they're like, oh, yeah, financially, that's a smart thing to do. And
Yeah.
I guess it's how serious,
Your credit
though.
score is probably great.
no.
yeah. I mean, a date or two, okay. You know, and then
I
if
think
you
you have to
really
find
like
out the
them,
reason why.
Yes.
And the
Yeah,
age
yeah.
and the circumstance.
yes, if it's like I'm not working and I don't want to work and I just like it when my mommy takes care
Yeah,
of
mommy
me,
makes good food.
and you're 30,
Right.
that's a red flag.
Yes, exactly.
But if you're like struggling or trying to save money or whatever,
I had a friend, like, obviously,
Yeah.
this is an obvious situation where his dad passed away unexpectedly and he was helping his mom with the bills.
and see that
If
Oh,
anything,
totally
it was like a
different.
green flag.
Yeah.
Like,
one
this is-
hundred percent.
And, he obviously wanted to, he was a single guy, wanted to live on, but he's like, I'm going to help my mom for a little bit.
Yep, and that's
And he's
hot.
one- and you know who
Yeah.
this guy is.
I do know who it
I
is.
mean, he's married now and everything, but
That's
he's a good
totally
guy.
different, though.
No, I know.
Yeah.
If
So you have to
somebody's-
find out the
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
If somebody's living in their basement, not doing anything, just living off mom, and then I think that is a red flag for a lot of women.
Yes,
If
yeah,
you're
yeah,
living
or it
off
should
her.
be.
Yeah.
living
It
off
should
her
be.
parents.
Katie, when
Yes.
you were single
Mm-hmm.
many years ago,
Much years ago.
what would be something you would never date somebody? What were your deal breakers?
A deal breaker for me was at the time someone who lived with their parents.
I told you,
That
Squid.
was a deal breaker for me, but that was a different time.
Mhm.
And also, I was living on my own and not making anything, and so I knew it was possible. I mean, it sucked.
It sucks.
Really
Yeah.
sucks
It's
big
definitely
time.
more difficult now.
But yeah, definitely more difficult. And that was a different time. But I just kind of had the thought that, like, if I could do it, anybody could do it, and that there was probably some detrimental reason that you were living at home. Also, I didn't really love the whole, like all the like restaurant work, even though I was working in the restaurant, because I just felt like it was really incestuous.
It's a
like I
likely to cheat maybe.
and also total opposite hours from what I was keeping at the time.
Oh,
I just ran out of
just
breath while I
crying
was
about-
talking.
Thinking about being single.
Like the hours, because I wake up at 3 a.m, and then
Right.
restaurant work, you could be at work till
Yeah.
closing down the restaurant. I've been there 2 o'clock in the morning, shutting down the bar. So at that point, it was kind of like,
When you
that's not
say
gonna
at
work.
that time, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Probably if somebody had kids, it was probably not a
Yeah,
kind of a deal breaker.
I did date somebody that had kids, but that was later.
later.
That was later,
Yeah.
but it was very difficult for me.
As Jason would say, at the panicking age, you started to say, okay, I'll loosen my standards a little bit.
Well, the guy was pretty hot. The guy was pretty hot who
okay.
had kids. So I was
So
like,
make exceptions.
wow.
Case
Yeah.
by case scenario.
Case by case. I can tell you right now, without a doubt, I would not have been able to handle that life because I am, number one, so jealous.
Yeah.
And that part, jealous and insecure, they go hand in hand. And so I
You're jealous about what?
not jealous, insecure, I guess is the word I should
That
have
he'll
used.
find somebody a lot prettier?
Well, yes, duh.
No,
I'm
but
insecure about that all the time.
Having the kids with somebody else, and it's not
Yes.
they're not your kids.
And they're going to be in your
Oh.
life forever. I mean,
Right.
rightfully so. They are the children's mother. I just know from my own insecurities that I was not built to live that life.
That-
I thought
that
I was, but I am not.
definitely caused a problem
Yeah.
in my second marriage.
It's very
and
difficult.
Heather left us alone 100%, but there's a lot of that.
And I didn't realize it at the time. I absolutely realize it now
Yeah,
that I was
yeah.
not built for that. I couldn't.
Right.
Not saying people can't. They can, absolutely.
Right. And up until, believe it or not, up until a year and a half ago, I never dated anybody with kids, but
Yeah.
that's now it's only people with kids.
Yeah. Well,
I
mean,
feel
'cause
bad now if I
yeah.
date somebody who doesn't have kids. I
Well,
don't
and your
feel bad,
situation
but,
is
like,
different.
I wouldn't want to be. I feel bad being in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have
Well, I
kids.
think it's going to be it's hard to find somebody as you get old. That's why I say women with the panic age is 26. If they don't have anybody and they don't foresee anybody or haven't found anybody, I always say women seem to me to start panicking that they don't have anybody, so they start almost settling. But what ends up happening is because you start getting in your 30s, and it's like all of a sudden most guys at that point have kids. It
And
seems
most
like,
women,
and
yeah.
most women do. So all of a sudden now you have to change your interpretation. And Squid, by the way,
Is that true?
you
at
should
30?
go for girls
or 30s.
that had a kid that does, and all that because they're a little easier to
Don't
get.
listen to him. Stop
They
it.
are.
That is a horrible reason
Why
to date
is that
somebody with
horrible?
kids.
Yeah.
That's
no,
a horrible
it's not.
reason.
What's
Yes,
wrong
it
with
is.
They're easier to get sometimes. I don't know why. They are, Squid. I'm telling you because it's and some people refer to it as baggage. I don't know if that's the case or not, but they just
It's not
seem.
kind.
It just I'm not. Why?
Well, because they're human beings.
You don't
but-
call
Yes.
children baggage.
Like, they have no
I didn't
say
say
in it.
that. Some people say that, but I'm saying it does always seem to me when a girl has a kid and they're single, they're more likely to open their mind up and talk to you than somebody that's not, especially if they're hot. That you can get a hotter girl with a kid single than you can if she has a kid than if you don't.
There may be some truth to that.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
my
disagree with
God.
Jason's statement, except for the fact that I wouldn't say date. I would just say hook up with.
Hook up.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you have a
I think
chance
it
of dating them
depends.
too.
I don't think Squid's interested in dating them consistently if they have a kid.
You don't want
Well,
to?
no, I mean, I will
Squid
say,
would hook up with a
Have
mom.
you changed on that a little bit?
I've slightly changed. I mean, because like the past year or two, I have like talked and I guess hooked up with kids. Kids. Oh
Oh
gosh.
my God!
Women with kids.
No wonder
women with
obsessed
kids.
with Epstein Island.
And
You're gonna
with
have to
women with
scrub
kids.
this.
And at first, initially, before I ever like even talked with anyone that had a kid, I would like no, never. But I know it's much more common, and really, it's not that. It's no different, really. It's just there's a.
I'll tell you the big
child.
difference.
I
The
mean,
big
I'm,
difference-
I'm,
Oh, it's a lot different.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%
There's a
different.
difference.
I
It's
mean,
a
as
huge
far
difference.
as
It's as
like
far
getting
different as
along
it
and
can possibly
talking.
be.
Spoken as someone who does not have
That
children.
sentence
who
right
does
there
not know.
is why I say don't date them, Squid.
Yeah.
You're like, that's no different.
There's a massive difference.
Yeah.
No difference.
It's the biggest difference. No kid, a human being,
To
or
the
kids.
kid
Yeah.
I mean, like,
is the biggest.
Wait,
I
wait,
don't
but
think
I'm
there is
saying-
a bigger difference.
I said that like because sometimes I meet
You mean
them
the
out.
sexy
I'll
time is
just
not different?
Like sexy time and talking to them and like getting to know them was no different than me meeting a girl.
Well, of
meeting a girl at a
course.
court, yeah, there's no different. And so
But living
I'm
a life.
open to. I'm not completely closed
Yeah,
off.
he's
like I
open
was.
to it if the girl's smoking hot. Because,
Yes, I mean, yes, I agree with that.
Would you agree, Katie? You agree, Squid, with the statement that you would consider dating the girl with a kid if she was smoking hot, and if she wasn't as had the kid, you would somebody else that's less good looking, you might date her.
Yes.
So
I
hotness
probably
matters.
agree with. Yeah, I mean, yeah, hotness does matter.
You see
to
what I'm
an
saying?
extent.
So, and that
Yeah.
girl who has a kid is probably not sometimes in the best situation, so she's more open to talk to you. I'm not saying this is right, wrong. I'm not saying this is a
I
good.
can tell you right now, it's wrong.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
It's wrong.
What
It's
part?
wrong.
I know
Because
morally
you are-
it's wrong.
Yeah,
but like, I just
morally
can't
it is.
help- Yeah,
you are putting the onus of children only on the woman. It's like, oh, she's not in a good place. She's desperate. She needs you to save her from her life because she's got kids. But the dude who also has kids
Yeah.
is women are like, you think women are supposed to view men that way?
No, I think that also hurts sometimes guys. It can hurt and help. I think some women, depending on what age, like, oh man, he has a kid, and that could be a detraction. Where I think guys are so visual that the looks are so important that they will tolerate a little bit more.
I think getting into a relationship just solely based on your visual is also a horrible
That
idea.
is a mistake. Is for sure a mistake.
Yeah.
It has to be way more than that. A relationship.
A
For sure.
relationship.
I mean, the last person that I was in a relationship with has her kids full time.
But you had kids,
I
so
have
that was a
kids too.
different
That's different.
situation.
No, but also, I think that's it makes it very difficult. I didn't
Yeah.
save her from anything because
No, but you had
but
kids.
I
and
do know some people that do have kids, men and women, and as a single parent, and it's so expensive and just life, and you're doing. Yes, of course, if you have a co-parent, then sometimes you don't, but you do you have to your mom and dad when the kids are with you.
Sure, yeah.
And so that's like, and we're made to be with somebody, and so I think you do get more maybe lenient on maybe what you would.
And I think it's subconscious. It's like a vision you see. You see, like, this life is hard. I have a kid. I'm a single mom. This life, it's not like I'm going to be settled, but it's just like you start envisioning life differently of being with somebody in a family than you are single and not even caring.
not even
But to
thinking about it.
marry them or be with them long term for that fact,
I didn't say that.
only
I said that initially to get them talking. That person probably would have never talked to Squid in the first place. Carol, my wife, just texted me clearly. I did.
I feel like I've noticed that, like,
She literally, Carol just said, clearly you did. I'm way out of your league. But
yeah.
I didn't even know she had a kid at the time. But now it makes
Right.
sense. She was probably envisioning a different vision to me. I probably never would have been able to talk to Carol if she didn't have a kid. That makes me feel good. Thanks.
Yeah, I will say though,
You've done it to yourself.
did it yourself.
Awesome. I kind of agree with you with that, Jason, because I feel like I've noticed that with a lot of single mothers that I have talked to, they had to go through the experience of like having a child with a douchebag, and then it realigned the way they look at men,
Yes.
and hence giving people like me a chance,
Yes,
and
that's true.
realizing, oh wait, maybe I do want a nice guy who's actually treats me well rather than just degrades me all the time and smacks me. You know?
That,
Yeah.
that
Smack.
part I can see. That
Yeah.
part I can see. But the way that it has been positioned, and don't even tell me that it hasn't, is that women who have kids are just desperate to be with somebody.
Not
to
all,
that is
and not
absolutely
desperate.
the
I said
way it
subconscious.
has been positioned.
They tend to be easier targets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just I think like men with kids are probably a little bit more
And really,
open to different things because, well, one, you've been through different things, and maybe you went after what you thought was the hot girl or whatever. You look past certain things, so then you want somebody that's more well-rounded. But when you're 25, you're not thinking that.
No.
No.
Not, or 24, you're thinking. I mean, I don't think anyone gets somebody they know is a terrible person.
No.
And then are like, this is cool. But
I
I think,
hope not.
Yeah, I would think not.
and
But
all the hot girls that I even had a chance with, I think, and when I got out of college, had a kid somewhere. I was like, all right, this girl's too hot to be talking to me. How many kids she's got? And sure enough, I dig up the house. She has a kid.
Kid somewhere.
Well, so did you. You just didn't know about them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, but there you go. I mean, literally, I didn't even know. I should have known. Carol had a kid at first. But I will tell you, ultimately, it is a compliment for the women.
well, I also do think if a woman will date you when she has kids,
Uh-huh.
that's a compliment to you as a man because if they're a good mom, because you're bringing,
Yes.
if you're getting to the point where you meet the kids, because I think in two ways, like Jason said, they might be more open to dating somebody that maybe they wouldn't have in the past, but they're also more careful if they're a good mom of who they now bring around their
Yeah,
kids.
but they
Yeah.
want things to be more secure as well.
But they also, if they're a good mom, they're going to be very careful who they bring around their kids.
Yes, and how long it's been, and it's not just bringing home somebody different every day and like, oh, this is just my friend,
Right.
and you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, because kids are not stupid.
They're not stupid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the number one, you might be surprised that the number one answer that ladies gave, I would never date someone who, the number one answer was a guy that other guys don't like. That was the number one answer.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's a huge
That's
red
interesting. Well, I
flag
think
for
that's it.
women.
Like he doesn't have friends.
He doesn't
That's
have friends.
the vouch
and he, and-
theory.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, even a guy can get direct and indirect vouchers from other guys too. That's the book that I
Yeah.
read of how to pick up women when I was in college.
Oh, yeah.
But that's basically what they're saying. If other guys aren't vouching for this guy, then you don't feel good
There's
about
something like why don't other guys like him?
Yeah.
Why don't they want to be friends with him? That's
Yeah.
a red flag. That was the number one answer.
I
That
can
was
see
That's the
that.
very
smartest
interesting.
answer they could have said.
I
That's
know.
the
Yeah.
smartest answer women
it. What
could
was
have
number
said.
2?
It was I would never date a guy. I would never date someone who is possessive or jealous.
All right.
Mhm.
What about 3?
Had horrible table manners.
Really?
Mhm.
That
Those
is
are the
not
top
in the top
three.
10,000 for men.
And then top 4.
she had the wrong fork at dinner. I'm out of here.
I think it's-
She could eat without utensils and eat with her face if she's hot enough. That's not a red flag.
Right.
Yeah.
She can slam food in your face.
I'm hoping that means more like being rude to the wait staff. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I think
a
got bad table manners.
Yeah.
She could and still we're all right with that.
Right.
Number 4 was I would never date someone who had bad personal hygiene. I mean, to me, that's,
that's
got
not
to
good.
be up higher, you know. But although that's not true because I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
And then the number 5 answer: I would never date someone who your friends don't like. Those were the
Oh.
top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Depends on the friend.
Yeah,
Depends
'cause they could
on
get
the
jealous.
friend.
Yeah,
But if they're
sometimes you have
all
some
saying
crappy
it-
They're all-
friends
you're
who are
right.
If they're all
jealous.
It's
saying it,
universal.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
true.
we've all been there where
Yes.
your friends have all said, and you're
Yes.
like, "No, everything's great."
Yeah.
You don't know him behind closed doors.
Right.
That's my favorite one.
Right.
But some women I do see, like, let's say you and your friend are single and your friends are single, and all of us, like, say there's 3 girls, right? And then all of a sudden you start talking to a guy and the other 2 girls are single and that guy's pretty good looking and they thought that they should have had the chance. Some girls will get jealous and kind of discredit, like, oh, who's that guy?
Yeah, I think that.
And I think you have to know your friend.
You have
at
to
that
know your
point.
friend, and you can.
Like she hates everyone
discern-
you,
yeah.
you go out with. You're like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Can we do this tomorrow?
Sure, for men.
Yeah, finish this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys, you have one, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Like
I would never date a woman who would date me. Is that one? Is that a good one?
that could be yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
We'll start with that one.
You would date Jared? Oh,
Like, you have
would never
really
date you.
Get out of here, you brawn.
You have poor judgment.
I'm looking for a respectable woman.
You have probably have bad table manners too. But
Respectable.
I don't know the
Probably.
right version of there, do you? All right. So, Katie, this story is insane.
Yeah, sorry, I was just choking on my water. Excuse me. I like it when we make fun of you.
Never drink water and I'm being made fun of.
I like it when you make fun of yourself. It's great.